In the most recent OTA, Storm got nerfed, so cost being increased from 3 to 4. Got a little bit of a bump to their power, which from 2 to 5, which is nice, and apparently to compensate for that cost nerf. And you'd think in this sort of a situation that the War Machine deck that you might have seen quite frequently or in one of my previous videos doesn't work anymore. But I'm going to show you this deck, which will evidence how it's just as good as it always used to be. But before we get into this updated War Machine deck, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. The support at the moment has been fantastic, so let's keep it up, and thank you very much. So as you can see, the shell of the deck is very similar, but just with a couple of modifications. Those modifications being in the form of bringing Psylocke and Electro, and as you can tell, both of those cards are with the purpose of providing you with more energy so that you can get those Storms and War Machines out sooner. So being able to play the Psylocke on turn 2 means that you can still play Storm or War Machine on turn 3, which just means that you can run through the same sort of combination that you would have done in a previous War Machine deck with no trouble. It just means that you rely on one extra card beforehand to be able to do so, but in my experience that hasn't been much of an issue to pull off. And in case you aren't aware of sort of the purpose of a regular War Machine deck prior to the nerfed Storm, effectively the line that you want to go down is storming off a location, so a location starts to flood. You put War Machine down, which means that you can play a card in any location, even if it is flooded, and then putting the Legion into that flooded location, so on turn 6 you can still play cards, but your opponent can't, which kind of just leaves you the whole 3 lanes to place any cards that you want to, and more often than not just win the game there. Alternatively, with this deck, if you do play the Psylocke on turn 2 and you haven't picked up the Storm yet but you have War Machine in hand, you can still play the War Machine on turn 3, play the Storm on turn 4, and then the Legion into that flooded location on turn 5, and it works the exact same. So it's not really sort of dependent on the order in which you play these cards now, which actually is quite useful. And even if you don't pick up Storm or Legion, being able to play the War Machine out and still play cards into Ebony Maw or behind Electro or Crossbones that would normally limit where or when you can play cards. So with Ebony Maw you can still play cards into that location. Electro, you can play more than one card per turn, otherwise normally it would limit you. Crossbones, you don't have to be winning a location to play Crossbones down. And the Infinaut, you can still play cards on turn 5 and then play the Infinaut on turn 6. I had lots of fun doing it, and it was still really, really effective. So please make sure to give this deck a go. And yeah, let's get into some gameplay. This is a fantastic opening hand for us at the moment. We've got the Psylocke that we can play on turn 2 to then be able to play the Storm on turn 3 due to the extra energy from Psylocke, and then straight into War Machine on 4. If we pick up the Legion, it's going to be even better. Not as of yet. We pick up the Electro, which, considering we do have the Psylocke in hand, isn't really a sort of a necessity to play at that point. And to avoid our flooded location being ruined, I'm going to Storm the middle. It's also quite interesting that we have an extra energy here anyway, so that Psylocke actually wasn't necessary. Still going to put it down though. And we can also get the Ebony Maw down because we're going to plan on playing the War Machine next anyway. I'm thinking maybe I just play it into the middle. Jean Grey's not going to limit us either with War Machine, which is nice to see. I'm assuming that's the card they picked up from the hub. Yeah, War Machine straight away here. I would be surprised if we were to lose this one now. Because they've kind of not committed at all to the middle. Obviously they can Arnim Zola into it. There is always that possibility with a Destroy deck. But we have the Legion. See, this deck is still very much alive and well. Much to the dismay of our opponent, I imagine.
You are mine. Enough said, bub.
I definitely need to change my underwear.
Well, they've thumbsed it up, so... But I'm sure they're not confident in winning this, because it's a destroy deck. They're not going to have, like, a Jeff or anything. Yeah, exactly.
Victory!
See, it's very, very still easily doable to run through this combination. So, we have Ebony Maw, and I'm going to play this now because we do have a War Machine in hand. I would be apprehensive to do so if we didn't, just because then there's no guarantee that we'd actually be able to put much power onto that right-hand side. But at least we have that guarantee now, which is nice. We've also got Psylocke here in the hopes that we pick up Storm on the next turn. I still think that if we have the Psylocke for turn 2, we might as well use it. Like on curve. Oh, we pick up the Storm as well, which was a good gamble. Obviously, still don't have the Legion, so it's not necessarily a win condition for us, but it definitely helps. I mean, if I pick up the Legion on this next turn, then that is just some of the best luck that you can hope for, really.
Wind, aid my hand.
I've also realised whatever happens as well, Starlight Citadel is going to swap these locations. So I'm going to put War Machine probably in the middle here as well. This is going to switch, and the flooding's either going to go left or right, and then we can at least play some cards into there without it being much of an issue, but it's harder to predict from their side. Cassandra Nova. Only 5, yeah, I mean we only have 5 cards in deck, so... And it's on that left-hand side that, yeah, okay. Oh, we pick up the Legion as well. That is perfect. We don't have priority, but... I mean, there's no way that they're going to stop us from playing this Legion, are they? Unless they have something absolutely crazy hidden up their sleeve that I'm just not aware of. And if they do, then fair enough, then they deserve to win this. Yeah, this is a... Ooh, this is interesting actually. It's definitely not a guaranteed win for us, is it? Ooh. I mean, I can just... there's only a 1 point difference across the whole board here. So I can Nebula and then just Crossbones one of these locations. And that should just be enough because we'll win the points difference. Cool.
Victory!
I nearly messed up because I didn't really think that far ahead to be like, oh, maybe I should be trying to win some of these locations. But thankfully, we had just enough. Interesting. So we have Gamma Lab, which considering we have a couple of 1-cost cards, we might as well play into anyway. Monster Island as well. Yeah, this is sort of the best we can do for the moment, I think. Might as well take advantage of those low costs, being able to play them into Gamma Lab. We also have a Jeff of our own that I could technically play into Gamma Lab if I wanted to. I don't know if that's just overkill at that point, but that's exactly what they're going to do as well. We do have a turn 4 Storm that I might as well put down just to cause a little bit of disruption. Oh my goodness, what is going on?
Aid my hand. Wind, aid my hand.
Currently this is identical. I'm trying to think of whether they're just going to try and Legion this for whatever reason. And maybe I War Machine just in case they do Legion it. I think I'm going to do that anyway. Oh my goodness, no way. There is no way that I got that lucky. It's quite an interesting play for them to just go and do that. I mean, it doesn't actually matter where I play this now, does it? Just play on the left. There's no point in me playing any of the other cards. I might as well go for the biggest one in this situation. I think they're just sitting and dwelling on what they've just done. I don't think they can believe it. I mean, there's no cards that they can play because they've already put their Jeff into Gamma Lab as well. I think they probably just Alt F4'd the game. They can't deal with the embarrassment of being completely and utterly outplayed at their own game. It's quite an interesting one for them to just Legion it though. I'm not really sure what the thought process was. I mean, the time is just going to run out for them, isn't it? Yep.
Hello! Can you understand me?
Delayed the inevitable.
Victory.
The vault is always a great location for this type of deck. It means that we won't actually have to play the storm if we don't want to. As long as we can get our War Machine and Legion, which are both in deck at the moment. Saying that, we've got the War Machine, so that's the first piece of the puzzle sorted. Okay, thank my lord for that. And we have Limbo as well, which if we do pick up the... Oh my goodness, that's just so lucky. Yeah, so we can hit the vault and cut off Limbo, and this couldn't really go all much better, to be honest. Might as well get the pig out just for a little bit of extra power whilst we have the energy to do so. Cool. I tend to like to sort of stack up a little bit of power when it comes to the War Machine and Legion as well. It does mean that if I pick up the Infinaut, it's a bit more simple in terms of exactly where I'm going to play it. I've also got to bear in mind that whatever happens, they're probably just going to save all energy for their sunspot, so it's not definite that they leave. And they just Shang-Chi the left. Cool. So, at the moment, I'm just going to crossbones the right hand side, and that's more than enough. I mean, don't have to do anything really, if I don't want to. But I'm going to. I'm going to take my time as well. Yeah.
Victory.
Love it. Quantum Tunnel again. It's so far been kind to us, and initially I'm just thinking I Psylocke into Quantum Tunnel. We've also got Tinker's Workshop that we've just been blessed with, but oh, we have Electro, which actually if we play that into Quantum Tunnel, we'll have the on-reveal obviously of +1 max energy, but that ongoing effect won't affect us because it will go straight back into the deck. And then theoretically I could just War Machine on this next turn anyway, and it wouldn't be an issue for the future if we pick it up again. So that's setting ourselves up quite nicely there. All depending on what Electro gets swapped with. which is going to be Ebony Maw. That's fine. That's the only annoying thing. However, I'm just going to Jubilee here. Jubilee will be destroyed, but at least we'll pick up a nice card in the process. Which is the Electro again, obviously.
I want the throne.
That's our Ebony Maw gone now anyway. And they have a Luke Cage. Yeah, there's no harm in me putting the War Machine out now, to be honest. And we can still play the Jeff. And yeah, now we won't be limited with what we can do in these next couple of rounds and have absolutely tons of energy to play around with. Nothing ongoing on the right hand side. Doesn't really affect us. And the Mystique that doesn't hit anything. And that is the Infinaut, which is a great hit for us. Boy, it's the best thing to even do in this situation. Maybe get a Doctor Doom down. That will swap into the deck for either a Legion or Crossbones or Nebula. Which, to be honest, I'm alright with, especially if we are able to pick up the Doctor Doom again on the next turn.
Doom rules all.
That gets swapped in for a Crossbones. Yeah, so we have a lot of power on that left-hand side. So they're actually doing a C3 deck, which I admire a lot. Also, War Machine's ongoing effect is now gone because of that that Quake, unfortunately.
Opponent snapped.
They're actually snapping on this, which is very interesting. The fact that they're snapping on this as well makes me think that they have something that they can or want to play. So if I Legion this now, it'll get swapped into their deck and probably mess them up a little bit. Then I'll chuck a Jeff over here maybe, and it has the potential to either hit Doctor Doom or Nebula. So obviously hoping that it hits the Doctor Doom. I'm just hoping, yeah, this Legion play on the left-hand side kind of throws them off a little bit. And that hits the Nebula. Okay, so this is going to hit the Doctor Doom. Fantastic.
Doom rules all.
And that's going to be a Sentinel again, okay. And this is probably just going to be another 3-powered. So that's fine, yeah, brilliant. And then into Juggernaut. And we didn't play anything in the middle anyway. Quake can mix up the Quantum Tunnels, but that doesn't really do anything for them. Into a Killmonger, and we have only the one powered card on the left hand side. Brilliant.
Victory.
Definitely not playing into Murder World, but we have the Nebula here that if we have on the first turn, I will typically play on that right hand side anyway. Camouflage is an interesting one, especially with the Jubilee in hand, and even the Doctor Doom towards the end, in case we don't pick up sort of War Machine or Storm or anything. It seems somewhat pointless to play Ebony Maw down, so I'm not going to. Bifrost is somewhat annoying because I did want to play Jubilee on Camouflage. But we do have the War Machine, which I'm thinking is just a good card to get down anyway. Especially, I will Jubilee on this next turn anyway. Our Nebula's gone, which is unfortunate, but... we do pick up the Storm now. Not necessarily worth it in this situation, I wouldn't say. I'm thinking maybe I still just Jubilee a couple of times. We can get the Ebony Maw down, which is nice. I'm thinking I might prefer to actually stack a little bit of power on that right hand side, considering they have their bishop over there. The crossbones, so already a lot of power in the middle, and then Jeff as well. I think I'm going to go with my original plan of Doctor Doom. Maybe even get the Jeff over on that left hand side as well, just because we're going to be... We'll have a lot of power in the middle anyway. It boosts us up a little bit on that left hand side. I think that should be enough. We'll have a lot of power on the right especially. They're snapping on turn 6 as well, so they must be somewhat confident with what they have. I'm hoping that confidence is misplaced, because a last turn snap is something.
Doom rules all.
Yeah, US Agent takes down our power in the middle by quite a lot. But that's not going to be an issue on the right hand side. Hit Monkey's big, but nice and easy. Glad we stayed in.
Victory.
I mean, I'm never going to complain about 5 extra energy on the first turn. So I'll get War Machine out and Psylocke. Because why not? Hope that we pick up Electro on the next turn. That would be very nice for us. That is perfect. Because that's hit the on reveal for us. Not that the ongoing would actually limit us anyway, because we have War Machine down, but even then, you can't really hope for much more. Also, the Vault in the middle, if we Jubilee and hit a Legion now, this might be the quickest win for a War Machine deck possible. I mean, it's the Infinaut, so it's still very good. We've got Nebula and Ebony Maw. No harm in playing those cards. Fingers crossed we pick up the Legion within the next 2 turns. That would be very nice for us. Let's hit the Psylocke, thank the Lord for that. Still no Legion as of yet, but that's fine. I'll just get the Jeff out for the moment. And then we have a 1 in 3 chance for the Legion on the next turn. Either that, or I wouldn't mind picking up Crossbones. We have Storm. I mean, that's okay. I'm not going to play the Storm. Or am I? Yeah, I could play the Storm over on that right hand side, because it completely... Well, it actually won't limit this lane, will it? Of course, they'll still be able to play there on the final turn if they wanted to. So that was a little bit silly. I probably should have just Doctor Doomed. Yeah, I do feel like that would have been the better play at this point. I think I'll just go for a bit more power on that left-hand side. Or do I? What are they going to do? Maybe Silver Surfer? What's the better thing to do in this situation? Maybe just get the Doctor Doom out, to be honest. Yeah, I played that.
Victory.
I played that quite poorly, to be honest. I probably shouldn't have Stormed. I probably should have just Doctor Doomed on the 5th turn, and then I would have picked up the Crossbones and played that on the last turn, but it's fine. We still won. We have a double War Machine in case we wanted to do that for whatever reason. Considering we do have the War Machine as well, I might as well get the Ebony Maw down. I know that I'm not completely locking myself out of that lane. We've also got Electro as well. Might as well put Jeff into Aunt May's. Gets it up to 6 power and we can still move it to wherever we want to. Yeah, we'll get the Electro out. I mean, it's the only card we can play anyway. They have the new nullified Wolverine variant, which is very nice. I mean, we have the combination that we wanted to pick up at some point. It's not necessarily the best one for us to pick up now.
Wind, aid my
But saying
hand.
that, we could probably Storm and Legion this and still win. Depending on when they destroy that Wolverine in the middle where it's going to bounce. I think I'm going to do it. Yeah. I don't think there was any way for them to win it.